Thing of beauty right here. This came from a 1-2 combo into a spinning hook kick. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it. The striking in this match. AJ, let me just say this before I even try to put any words into this, man. This fight was the main event for me personally. And I think that we were lucky because this was one of the best striking showcases that I have seen between two competitors going back and forth, mano y mano. Yes, did Jan pull away towards the end? He did, but the striking was still very competitive, rounds 1 through 5, man. So I have to say, bravo to these gentlemen, man. Petr Yan, Cory Sandhagen, you guys are some of the best to ever lace them up in that octagon, and especially with that striking showcase. It was a thing of beauty to behold. But this spinning hook kick, whatever you want to call it, was beautiful. And what's crazy is that it looks bad in the photo. So if you're watching, folks, it's just a photo of Petr Yan hitting that, and Cory Sandhagen's face like all muffled, and like, you know, he just got hit with a shot. But he immediately, right after this, put his hands out like that was nothing, and then threw a flying knee and tried to hit Yan. There's like the last seconds of the fight, man. So Sandhagen took it on the chin, says, you ain't got nothing for me, man. Yes, did he wilt a little bit towards the end, but not as much as any of the other opponents Jan has faced, man. Give me your take on that photo, AJ.
Yeah, bro, this is a crazy photo. We've seen a couple where timing, distance, accuracy all kind of line up. And this one, if Cory Sandhagen wasn't as good of a distance manager and a distance counter striker as he was, Jan would have hit him clearly with the heel on the chin instead of just the toes on the chin. And it would have been a night for Cory Sandhagen, man. That's why I made him my fighter tonight. This like that you're able to not get clapped with a spinning round, you know, what should have been a heel kick, but ended up just being a hook kick to the chin. Yeah, bro, very impressive. And for Jan, I mean, the fact that you're able to do that on a guy who's taller than you, who has a range on you, and you're still able to hit that strike, bro, this dude is crazy good.
Absolutely, man. And listen, AJ, I want a quick question from you because it looks like he's happy. He's with the family. He's smiling. Do you think he should have maybe on the inside he was feeling like Dustin Poirier or maybe Justin Gaethje? I don't remember which one. I think it was Justin Gaethje where they just threw the belt on the ground. They're like, yeah, no, I'll wait till the real one. You know.
I think Jan Petr Yan, they're a little bit more not respectful in the terms I'm trying to use it, but a little bit more like respectful is the only word that comes to mind, where he's not going to disrespect the belt by throwing it on there. He knows what it is. He knows that he's a real champ, and he's just kind of a little more honored to hold it than Justin Gaethje, where he's like, fuck this, you know. They have a little bit less of that. More pride, I guess, is a better word for it.
Let me ask you though, man. You were in this situation. You know you never really lost the belt. You didn't lose it. You know what I mean? Yeah, you did some shit in a fight that you were winning to then relinquish the belt, but you didn't lose it. You didn't get your ass beat or anything like that. Do you, if you spoke English, I'm just imagining you're Petr Yan, right? If you spoke good English, because that's really the big problem with him is he can't communicate to the fans like that. Do you cut the sickest promo we've ever seen, throw the belt on the ground, say, fuck that, Aljo, I'll see you soon to reclaim my fucking belt, bro. Like, fuck this little, you know, interim, whatever. I don't need this nonsense, man. I'm coming for the real thing. Aljo, I'm going to beat your ass. What's up? You know, like, if that was you, is that what you were saying? Are you cutting a promo? Not even personal to Aljo, but just whoever the champion was at that time. Are you doing that, or are you doing the respectful, yeah, you know, I mean, he said it after the fight. He says, I'm emotionally empty on this one. This doesn't do much for me. You know what I mean? What did you take?
Man, I cut the promo, brother. I play heel on this one. I give this one, since my son's right next to me, I take the belt off, put it around him, and say, this one's for him. I'm taking the next belt from my other son out there. Aljo, you better be ready, brother.
Okay. All right. I like that, man. See, listen, man, you're going to have to start hitting up some of these fighters, giving them the marketing strategy, bro, because that's what they need, man. Do a little something like that. Yeah, give us a call, man. Give my brother a call, because listen, man, all of that to say, man, is Petr Yan is now the interim bantamweight champion. He will fight Aljamain Sterling to unify the belt, and it's a rematch that not many people want to see, to be honest, man, because the first one was very one-sided, very conclusive, and if not for that knee, he was cruising to, if not a unanimous decision victory, it would have been a TKO in the late rounds, man, because Petr Yan's cardio is insane. He's ridiculous, but I want to take this time, AJ, because we know how good Petr Yan is. We know his striking is next level. We know that the man is truly the champion. We've talked about him like he was the champion. He is the people's champion still. But I want to take a second to revisit that topic we were talking about earlier, AJ, about Cory Sandhagen. And I want to talk about this, man. First and foremost, he said he'll be back. You said you feel that he'll be back. I feel that he'll be back. But I want to talk about the murderer's row he's had to fight in order to get to the position that he's at now. He's had a harder strength of schedule than Petr Yan has, by far. And in his last 6 fights, I'll just talk about last 5 instead of last 6 to make it easy. Aljamain Sterling, current champion in the bantamweight division. Marlon Moraes, multiple regional bantamweight champion, top contender in the bantamweight division for basically as long as he's been in the division. Frankie Edgar, former champion, right? TJ Dillashaw, multiple time former champion. Petr Yan, former/current champion, right? These are all in his last 5, and he went 2-3 in that span. Arguably 3-2 because, right, we think he beat TJ Dillashaw, but that's neither here nor there. First off, is he like the Joe Frazier of his era right now? You know what I'm saying? Where like Joe Frazier is one of the best to lace him up, bro. We know this. There's no disrespect on that man's name whatsoever. But we also know if not for Muhammad Ali, he probably would have been reigning supreme. Well, aside from George Foreman, but we'll not talk about that, you know. But he was a big figure in that division, right? In the heavyweight division back then. But you got that person, right? Just like, for an example, Isaiah Thomas in basketball for the Pistons, right? He was trying to get his dubs. He couldn't get the dubs because the Pistons couldn't beat the Lakers or something like that. Magic Johnson, I don't know. That's 90s basketball references for you. The point remains, AJ, do you think Cory Sandhagen, I know you said he'd already be a champion if it wasn't for Petr Yan, but do you think that he is that level of greatness? Look at the people he's fought, man. What are we talking about?
Yeah, man, he has to be that level of greatness for him. And to be honest, what frustrated me most about this fight going forward is Cory Sandhagen comes back. I forgot what round it is. It was 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there. I think it was actually going into the 4th round after the 3rd. Sandhagen comes back to his coaches and asks, all right, what do I have to do? And his coach said, 5 more minutes, that's all. Like, bro, that's not I know there's 5 more minutes, man. What the fuck? Like, what? Yeah. Give me some advice. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it for myself. Give me something. So that right there was, I think, the only thing that's holding Cory Sandhagen back is having that outside perspective of an actual somebody like I don't even know who Cory Sandhagen's coaches are, but, you know, going to like a top tier organization for his coaches. And if not, man, if not for that one thing, I think he would be, you know, one of the greatest, but I do think he's right there, right on that top tier, upper echelon of the fighters. Do you know who his coaches are?
Yeah, man, he fights at Elevation Fight Team out there in Colorado. So Trevor Whitman is over there, but Trevor Whitman's not his coach.
Yeah, he's not part of Elevation.
No, he's got his own thing, but he kind of works in tandem with Elevation right there. Because that's where, I mean, Rose and Gaethje and Usman, they all train over there, right? I don't know exactly who his specific coach is, but I do know it's in that stable of Elevation Fight Team, which is a very, very respected gym and organization. So I don't necessarily think that the coaching per se with the people. I think the people around him kind of know his fight style and know that, like, you don't really got to give the X's and O's like that, even though he was asking these questions. But if you saw it in the fight, man, you saw that Petr Yan, the difference was he was able to make reads, man. And the more reads that he made, the more that you saw he was adjusting to Sandhagen. So the little hand fighting that Sandhagen was doing wasn't working as well. The movement wasn't working as well. Petr Yan started extending his shots a little bit more because he noticed, oh, Cory Sandhagen keeps moving backwards instead of side to side. So if I just overextend a little bit, I'm going to hit him there, right? I'm going to double up on this. I think it was some of that stuff, man. I think Cory Sandhagen truly, even though I agree with your point, there's something missing, you know what I mean? But I think it's part of the experience. And I think that experience is what he was missing. And now he's had the tough test against TJ, Aljamain, and Petr Yan. Literally 3 champions right there, AJ. I think this is probably, and it's going to suck to say, the best thing that's ever happened in his entire career in terms of learning curve and becoming a different animal, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. And that kind of goes more to my point of the fact that if Petr Yan was so experienced and able to make the reads in time, and Cory Sandhagen wasn't, and he was depending on somebody else, this is a better lesson for him to learn. Yo, I need to do it on my own, man. They told me I got 5 more minutes. I know that. Give me something else. Now he has to learn that he has to do it himself. And I think, honestly, man, Cory, it seemed like they had kind of a mutual respect enough for each other that if the language barrier wasn't there, I think they'd be able to work together and get Cory Sandhagen better, man, because the reads that Yan was able to do mid-fight were so impressive that if Cory Sandhagen would do that, yeah, man, he'd be top of the heap.
Well, I will say one thing that was concerning to me early because I picked Yan, so I'm hoping Yan wins. Obviously, I was rooting for Sandhagen, but it seemed like Yan respected Sandhagen too much early on, right? Like, he kept trying to touch gloves with him. He kept trying to be nice and all that. And I was like, yo, because Cory Sandhagen looked locked in. Like, he was like, fuck all that. Like, we're not doing that shit. Like, I'll touch gloves, just because you put it out there and I'm not a dick, but I'm not trying to be all friendly in. But that's the thing. It still ended up working out for Yan, so it goes to show just how much of a competitor supreme the man is. Shout out Dan Gable. But big win for Petr Petr Yan, man. We already know this. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's a sight to see. Behold it.